back. Thanks for joining me. Today, we're going to take a look at an add-on to Google. It is something that I've used for a while in the classroom, and I think it's really applicable to this day and age, and it's called Doctopus. Yes, you heard me right. It is called Doctopus, kind of a strange name. But so you actually use it when you are in the Google Sheets, so in the kind of like the Excel version, but it's a way to share any type of document. So it could be a Word file, or it could be a PowerPoint, things like that. And I think it's super useful. So if you wanted to share an article, or if you even wanted to teach kids how to like format how they type a paper. I used that a lot when I was teaching kids how to write papers. So you could send that out. So let's say I wanted to send this out to students, and these were my directions, but I wanted each kid to have their own individual article because I wanted them to annotate. I also can give them a time limit too. I could say when it's due, and then eventually I'll lock them out. So there's a lot of real cool tricks to that. So what you want to do, first you want to make sure you have the document that you want to share, and then you want to open up an Excel sheet or a Google sheet. It also works with Google Classroom, so that is also a really cool trick. So if you already have Google Classroom and you have the assignment in your Google Classroom, then it will talk to that as well, and so then your class is already set in there and you don't have to worry about setting up a roster. So to do that, you need to have add-on. Now I already have it in there. If you don't have it in there, then you're going to say get add-on. So then you're going to search for Doctopus. You're going to click on that and install it. Once you have it installed, then you're going to go to Doctopus here and click Launch. Once it comes up, it's going to take you through the steps, and it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's pretty cool. So it works in two ways. So either you can work with your Google Classroom, which is great, or you can create your rosters. Now, once you create the roster, then it's already going to be in there for every time you want to use it thereafter. The first original time, it might take a little bit of effort because you're going to have to create the roster. So you're going to have to import that from whatever system you use. So if you're from CPS, you're going to have to cut and paste your first and last name and your emails and create that roster. But once you have that groundwork done, you're golden for the rest of the time. So you're going to click your select mode. So you're either going to ingest the Google Classroom, or you're going to distribute from your drive. So in this case, I have it from my drive. So I'm going to distribute drive resource. Now I'm going to select my roster. So again, this is from the olden days. These are all the different rosters that I have done throughout my years of teaching. So I can either select a roster from the previous times that I've been teaching. If I'm new to it, then I can build a new roster, and that's where you would do that. Or I could select a roster that I have already preset. So you're going to click the roster that you want. Now, if you want to use that roster, you're going to say use roster, and it'll pre-populate already for you. Now, if you did not want to do that, you're going to build the roster, and these headings will pop up. This is where you'll cut and paste your first name, your last name, and your emails in there. And then it'll ask you, do you want to create the folders? You're going to say yes, and it'll create all those folders for you. Each student will get their own individual folder, which is really, really great. So in your drive, it's going to create a folder for all of your students. So all of their assignments will go right in there automatically for you. So you are well organized in your own drive. So you don't have to go searching for them. All of their stuff will go automatically right in there. They'll get their own keychain, all of that kind of stuff. If you need to make any changes, like for example, already I can see that this email is incorrect. So I could go in and I can edit it. And you can make some additions. Or let's say a kid transferred in or out to your class, you can add to it and you can refresh class folders. Now, what it's also doing, as you can see down at the bottom, it said it's going to, for unshared folders, it's also sharing these folders with your students. So it's adding them to their drive as well. So they also will create folders in their drive to find all of the assignments that they need. Once that's finished, and when it said successfully, then you're going to click next. Now this is where you're going to decide how you want this document to be shared. So this is going to say individual, all the same. That means every student in your class is going to get exactly the same document, but they're going to get their own document. This one is going to say individually differentiated. That means maybe they're going to get different types of documents based on the type of student. This is really great if you're going to have different levels, so you're going to differentiate based on the type of student. This is group project. This is really cool because maybe you're going to have different groups that are going to be working on different projects. So maybe group A is all going to be working on one theme, and then group B is a different theme. So they're going to be getting different types of documents per group, but they're all going to be working on the same document in that group. That's a really cool idea. And then this is the whole class is going to be on the same document. That means they're not getting individual documents, but they'll all be working on the same document, and they'll be able to see each other's comments. So there's different types of sharing, and so you get to pick how you want this to be shared. In my case, because I want them to be annotating and I want them to be working on their own thing, I'm going to click individual all the same. So they're all getting the exact same document, but they all have their own. Now, I don't want them to be cheating or sharing with each other, so for this right here, it says how I get to have my different access levels. So this one, student can't access other students' assignments. That means I don't want them to be able to share each other's assignment with each other and copy each other's annotations or summaries or things like that. So this is no access. That means they only get theirs and they cannot share each other's. This is how much level of editing I want them to have. So if I'm giving them a document, but I only want them to be able to view it, because maybe it's a student sample, then I would only have view. If I'm giving them an article, but I don't want them to be able to change the words, then maybe I just want them to comment on that. But since I want them to be able to highlight and annotate and things like that, I'm going to allow them to edit this one. So I'm going to allow them to edit. I also am going to say editors cannot change sharing permissions. This means this is only their document. They cannot add or change the sharing permissions within it. Now, this is also a great feature. If you have a co-teacher, you definitely want to make sure you put their name in here so that they also are a part of the system and that they have the same rights and they're able to view all of your students' documents as well, and then they can give feedback. Okay, so now you're going to pick the document that you're sending out to all of your students. So you're going to choose the folder. So this is not actually where this document is held, so I have to figure out where it is. So I'm going to choose a different folder. So you check the folder that it's in, and then you're going to pick the actual document that it is. So now I know that this is the document, and you're going to save and continue. And then up here, do you want to set a special folder just for this? And I usually just keep it in the folder I already have it in. And then here is where you get to write your email to your students. So you're going to write, make sure you follow the directions carefully. And you just click save and continue. So now it's just making sure that everything is right. So yes, there's our students. We want to deliver it. It's our individual. It's all ready to go. And we're going to run and copy and share. We're going to manage it, and I'll show you what you can do from there. All right, so now if you wanted to, you could do all these other things. You can add a rubric. You can add things for grading. You can send feedback and emails. You can do all sorts of different things. We'll get into that in a different lesson. But I want you to take a look at this spreadsheet here. It does update as you go along. So it's going to let you know when students actually get into the actual document. So right now you can see that no one's actually entered in. So you'll know when they've started to make edits into it. You also can just click on this link and it'll bring you straight into that student's document, and you'll be able to see the edits that they made that way. And then you'll also be able to start making grades. You can give written feedback right there, and keep everything in one place for your students. So I'll show you on the other end how this is all going to look. So we'll take a look at our email and see how it pops up. So you'll take a look and we'll see that we got the email, and it says make sure that you follow directions, and we can open up the document. So as you can see, I got my individual document. So we're going to go and we're going to read the directions, and it says I think that this is important, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight this yellow. All right, so let's see what happens on the teacher end. So we're going to go back into this one, and you can see the edits that they made. So it works. So I hope that this is a fun trick that you will be able to use and share different documents, as well as get kids to collaborate a little bit more while we are out. Like always, if you enjoyed the lesson, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, be well, and be safe.